Hi everyone. I'm just going to talk to you about how to actually screen out bad tenants. So one of the things that a lot of people get into, especially here in Canada, is property management, or they become a landlord. And so, just based on my experience, someone who's managed 11 tenants, someone who's gone through maybe 20 or 30 tenants, you sort of get an idea of and a knack of how to attract good tenants and how to screen out bad tenants, which I think is sort of the number one cause of people failing in the landlord business. There's a number of things, but I think this is one of the key elements to how people screw up and go broke. The fact of putting a down payment on a property, then getting a mortgage, and then hoping that the tenant pays on time. Sometimes it doesn't work out the way that we want to. So, just going to give you a quick overview of why I think this presentation would be helpful to you. Is that we'll look at some of the why screening is important, why most landlords who don't follow these steps can fail before screening, some post screening tenants, good questions to ask, and treat it like a business. So why is screening important? So one of the main important things about screening is think of it like a business. You could have inventory, and then you can have inventory that where there's some that it just isn't selling well. So it's the same thing like in business. You could have a tenant, and if they're a headache, they may cause damage to your property. They may not even bother to pay rent. If you're living in a sort of on the East Coast or on the West Coast, the cost to acquire a property are tremendous versus somewhere like Houston or Ohio or Cincinnati or somewhere else in the Midwest where a property costs, $100K. On the West Coast, you're banking for appreciation, but also at the same time, you're hoping that whoever pays the mortgage down, which could be, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. Where I reside in the Lower Mainland here in British Columbia, average house now rents for about $3,000. So that's $36,000 a year, which is a pretty good amount considering that $50K is probably the average salary. So the thing that comes down to the fact is that it can be potentially challenging to kick people out. You may have to spend $10,000 more. The next item that I think people fail to discount becoming a landlord is mental stress, the cost. Thirdly, the delayed mortgage payments, the fact that you're not able to pay at that particular time. You're putting money out of your own pocket, and once again, the cost of your own assets. So, why do I think landlords fail? Number one thing that people don't do is they don't look at it like breaking it down step by step. Why I think landlords fail is they go with their gut. They go with their intuition. So they might have 20, 30 people apply, and then they don't actually do any due diligence. They don't actually look for references. They don't look for finding out whether or not a person is employed. They won't actually go into Facebook, LinkedIn, social media to sort of see what is this person like. They don't actually check up with where they work, their references. They don't actually check for any pay stubs or anything, just to sort of cement the fact that this person is who they are. So I think like one of the things that I really stress to people is, treat it like a business. Treat it like, like you have to go with your gut to a certain extent. You have to treat them like a customer, and at the same time too, if you're treating them like a customer, you have to ensure that like whatever that you do, that you're doing everything straightforward, that you're open, you're honest, and you're direct with them. And so one of the things I always try to tell people is make sure that they're gainfully employed. Lower the rent if the person has a stable job. They're a nurse, a teacher, doctor, or whatever. So before screening, try to find out who your ideal tenant is. Who are you trying to rent out the apartment to? And try to tailor the advertisement to whoever that you're trying to attract the tenant to. So, for instance, if the person is, a dual income, no kid, try to showcase how your condo in downtown Vancouver is really close to major key attractions. It's close to the parks. It's close to restaurants. Versus if you are trying to attract a family where maybe the family is um, looking for good schools, a nice amenities parks close to the mall, stuff like that. So, and then where do you post? I would suggest Facebook and Craigslist. Facebook is really good because you'll get 50, 70 people respond really quickly. You can sort of do some due diligence there. So good questions to ask for screening. Do you have pets? The reason why I ask people if they have pets isn't then you can get you can tend to get a little bit more rent because pet accommodated places are a little bit more challenging. And I think it's good to ask if they have pets because you never know if they end up having a cat. Well, a cat could may damage the walls, or if it's a larger dog, there might be pee stains that are hard to get out. So stuff like that. The other questions that I like to ask is how many people. So ideally you want one or two people, but what if there's 20 people living in there? So it's always good to find out how many people there are, cap it to a certain amount based on your regulations in your state, and ask them how long they've been working for, or what are they doing. So, and then lastly, treat it like a business. So the rental business is like a business. Treat it like one. Otherwise, I'll run you into the ground, not the other way around. So I put this again. If you're gonna treat this like a business, then you gotta go and give above average customer service. So you want to treat the customer, your tenants, like they're gold. They're giving you rent. It's like a dividend, and the appreciation is just another bonus. So if you can get someone to pay off an asset for you, and in 20 years that asset is still producing income, and Bob's your uncle. So I hope this presentation has helped you and you got some benefit out of it. Thank you.